Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Joining us on the line now is Johnny Ball, known for his hugely successful 20-year career with the BBC, where he became a household name writing and presenting children's television. Starting as a stand-up comedian, he joined Play School in 1967 before going on to create hit series such as Think of a Number, which won a BAFTA. Johnny Ball's Stories That Must Be Told is the second part of his autobiography, following on from Johnny Ball, My Previous Life in Comedy, which we spoke about last year. How are you, Johnny?
I'm very well.
Oh, he's showing me the book.
And it comes out, yes. And it's got a silly picture of me. The first one, I had to do an intro. It was a bit long, my autobiography, so I had to do My Previous Life in Comedy, the first one. Yeah. And there's me with my arm around a skeleton. And people keep asking, which one is you? That's not very nice. And that was taken literally when this book finished, 82. This one starts 79, a little bit before, and when I moved into this house. And this is me older and dapper on the cover. And and it's all my stories. I've called these Stories That Must Be Told because some of them are just unbelievable, and things that have happened to me. And you've just got to tell them because it's crazy. I can tell you one straight away.
Yeah.
You know Dyson, the vacuum cleaner people, Dyson, and the hair curlers and things. They rang and they said, could you do a motivational talk? They see me do motivational talk somewhere else. And they said, could you do a motivational talk for our staff in Malmesbury in, Gloucestershire way? And I said, yeah. And this was on a Monday at about 5 o'clock. And I said, yeah, when? They said, Friday. I said, well, it's Friday. I said, wow. They said, yeah, come down about 4:30 and have a look around. And at 5:30, do a talk to about 150 people. Is that all right? I said, yeah. Fee, agreed. Okay. And I was there. So I got there. I couldn't believe the place when I got to Dyson's factory. It was quiet. Conveyor belts were still. There was rubbish on some of the conveyor belts. There was an atmosphere you could cut with a knife. Nobody would tell me what it was all about. And at 5:30, I started talking to 150 people. They were the hardest audience I'd ever heard, ever had. It was terrible. But I got them with all tried and tested jokes and things, and I got them. And after an hour, I finished, and they said, Johnny, they took me to the bar, the two fellas who were looking after me, said, that was wonderful. I said, wonderful. That's the hardest audience I've ever had in my life. He said, has nobody told you? I said, tell me what? He said, this morning at 10 o'clock, Dyson announced that he's closing this factory and moving all the production to Malaysia. So they're all going to be out of a job. But they never told. So these are the crazy things that happened to me.
Oh, awful. And you were supposed to motivate them when they've all lost their jobs. Oh, well done. That's quite a skill. Amazing. And something we spoke about last time was your stand-up comedy, which I think a lot of people who know you from children's television might not have known, depending on their age, of course.
Oh, I wanted to be a comedian when I was 11 because my dad was very funny. Should always have been a comedian. He never got the chance, never got the break. Mm-hmm. But he was so funny. Every line was a joke. And so at 11, I thought, what nicer career than to make people laugh? I couldn't imagine it. So at 11, I decided to be a comedian. And I was actually 27 when, what was I, 24, 5. 27 I turned pro as a comedian for all that time. But I was a comic for 17 years and I loved it. And then when I got into children's television and started writing television programs, it was the comedy training that made it possible.
Yeah.
For a comedian's act, there's never a dull moment. You've got to go bang, bang, bit more, bang, bang. And you've got to pace it. Sometimes they're quicker, sometimes you slow it down, and you pace it. That's how I wrote my television programs. There was never a flat moment, never a dull moment, never let's have a rest.
Yes.
And that was luckily the skill I had through being a comic, which I love.
And in your book, both of them, but this one particularly, you talk very much about not only the highs in your life and amazing moments, but also the lows. Very, very kind of roller coaster ride, some of it.
Oh, there are so many incredible lows. There really were, you know. I mean, I'm winning awards from television programs, and then because my agent said, "Why don't you try for adult television?" I said, "Well, whenever." So I put an idea forward. The boss of adult television rang my head of the children's and said, "Johnny Ball's thinking of working with us." So and he was livid, and he broke the team up. We won world awards, never mind just the BAFTA, and he broke the team up. And suddenly I walked in, and my whole team were working with somebody else, and they hadn't dared tell me. And so I recovered from that, and then that got broken up again, and I recovered from that. And by that time, I'd had 17 years with the BBC, well, 20 years with the BBC, and the corporate world beat up after my door. Suddenly I worked with National Grid 7 years, BAE Systems 4 years, and so many others. And I didn't need television anymore. But I was heartbroken because they dropped me. And but there we are. But it's still up and down now. Everything I do is up and down.
And did you miss the telly?
I didn't really, because I'd done everything I could almost. You know, I did 20 series of programs, 6 or 7 a series. So it's a lot of programs, well over 100, and I was slowly getting a little bit frustrated in that I wanted to do other things as well, you know. And so, in a way, the change was great. So I started working for National Grid, and they said, "Could you produce a Michael Faraday character?" I said, "Well, if I did, he'd have to know all that Michael Faraday did. He'd have to be a living reincarnation of Michael Faraday, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "And he could even be in a musical." And the best person, what? And I went home and wrote the Michael Faraday Electric Roadshow, and that's the first musical I wrote. And I wrote 5 musicals, and the biggest probably was Tales of Mass and Legends in 2000, where we were playing for 3,500 a day because we were filling, you know, Liverpool Empire's 2,555. How do I know? Because I filled it. But filled it twice in a day, you know, gosh. So 5,000 there. But we were averaging over 3,500 people, kids a day, 9 to 13-year-olds, and I was having the time of my life. I was drawing bigger figures than Penn Dodd to theatre, but nobody knew. Only schools knew. I didn't need the whole world to know. I was just enjoying it so much. And so, there were 5 musicals, and then I had a show in the Dome in 2005, acted. Sold every place in the year, and that was lovely, and the actors were great. And one of them is now the drama teacher to my grandson, and we think we might be doing a book on the music on the science I explained, and the music I put into it. So all my scientific songs. So for Zero, now here's a way to do your sons an easy way, so don't be done. Use this new invention. What is it? It's nothing. This new idea will change the code carefully as we unfurl the secret. What is it? It's nothing. It's so simple, but we wear, and so on. And they're great.
Oh, lovely.
So that ends, you see, that was in the valley of the Indus. I mean, the brainwave so tremendous. Have number symbols, 1 to 9. Use those numbers all the time, but always be aware of space. Put them in their proper place. So if you wrote, say, 3, 2, 1, it meant 321. But if you take away the 10s, you'd leave 31. That doesn't make sense. The 3 still needs to be 300. So keep the digit split asunder, and remember that there's nothing there. So put a ring around it to mark it. Yeah, this unknown chap became a hero the day that he invented Zero, and I nearly forgot it. But and that was the story of Zero. You know?
Yeah.
So that's really my life. I just keep working all the time, and every time somebody slaps me down, I get back up again. You know, so one day somebody's going to hit me with such a heavy punch I won't get up.
Hopefully not, Johnny.
Yeah.
But it must be lovely not working, because you're not necessarily working with children, but creating content, books and TV shows and musicals that kids enjoy and learn from. It's so important for children to find learning fun, and you have an incredible knack of making learning fun.
And it was all because of that early comedy training and my dad's idea of comedy. And it was the comedy that made the shows work. And the joy today, we went skiing last week in Slovenia, in Italy, and the number of people who come up and say, "Oh, you changed my life. I'm an engineer because of you." One day somebody's going to come up and say, "I'm an engineer because of you," and he's going to knee me in the groin because he didn't want to go that way. But it hasn't happened that way. They're all lovely, you know. And why do people recognise my voice? So we're skiing. And I said to my wife, "Guy, this way." That's all I said. "Oh, Johnny Ball, let's follow him." And there's a group of people following us down the slope, you know.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Here's a tip for anybody else who's 87. If you're fit enough and your knees are strong enough, you go skiing, because the lift pass is €2 for the year.
No way.
Yeah.
I wonder, there can't be many 87-year-olds that are skiing. That's very impressive.
And I'm not sure whether we might make another year, Di and I. We hope we will. But we're cruisers now, you know. We're not going down black runs and we're not doing silly things. But we enjoy it. We love it. It's just lovely.
Fabulous.
It's the ice. It's been on the snow. It keeps you fresh.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a lovely quote from your daughter Zoe, who said, "I may be biased, but this is a joyous collection of adventures penned by my dear daddy." That made me smile.
That's right. Well, if you can't get a credit from your daughter, who can you get a credit from? But that's lovely. She's in a lovely place now because, as you know, you may know in Spain that she packed in a morning breakfast show after 7 years. And she did it to be with Nellie May, her daughter, who's 16. I said, "I've only got 2 more years. She'll be 18 away. So I'm going to pack in so I can spend more time with my daughter." Lovely. You tell me. How often do you see a 16-year-old daughter? You never see them. They're out with their mates.
Good point.
But she's good at the rest. She's in a very happy place, though, at the moment, yeah.
Nice. So is book 2 it? Have you kind of completed your autobiography, or could there be a book 3? That's
done, yeah. There won't be a book 3. Well, I don't know. If I live another 140 years, there might be room. But no. That's at the end of this book, the last book 1. I talk about the grandchildren and something about everyone, because there's 6 grandchildren, and there's always something nice to say about grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But I said, worth the price of the book alone, and that is my exercise routine that I still do today.
Oh, okay.
So if anybody's listening, you can always find me at 3 W's, johnnyball.co.uk, right? And you'll find me on the web. And if you want to email me, you can email me there. And I can always, tell you what it's all about and show copies of it.
So like do you do this exercise routine every day or a few times a week, or?
Most days. Not everyone, but most days.
And how long does it last?
Well, that's the bone of contention, because my wife designed it.
Oh, wow, okay.
She was a dancer, and she qualified in these things, you see. And she says, this is a very good 10-minute routine. And she gets annoyed because I do it in 5. and she said, "You've got to take your time." I go, up, finish.
So it's not that you're cutting bits out, you're just doing it really quickly.
Just do it quicker, yeah.
That's amazing, though. So did it feel strange coming to the end of the writing of this book? Was it a sort of relief, or was it a little bit sad, or how did you feel?
When you write, you have a word count to know where you are and how big, how bulky your book is, you know. And I got the word count wrong. So this is actually 50 pages shorter than the previous one. And I've got enough stories to have put in there. I got the word count wrong, and I thought I finished it and I could have put other things in. But I've loved it. And the thing I've loved about it, and the first journalist that came on said, absolutely got it to a T. She said, the incredible thing, it's a total roller coaster. Your life is just up, bang, you slap down. Up you get, bang, you slap down. And I said, well, that's made me stronger. But that's why the stories are worth telling. You won't believe some of the stories that have happened to me, The Dyson story I've just told you, it's just crazy, When I went to Honda to talk to Honda in Swindon and told them, Honda will always be here because of you, because right from the railway age, they've always had a loyal workforce in Swindon, and they'll be here with jobs for you forever, and it's a great working relationship. Less than 2 years later, the first town in England to vote to leave Brexit, to leave Europe in Brexit, was Swindon, when the Honda has said, if we were out of Europe, we couldn't stay here. And they've gone. And all those jobs have gone. And it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and the thing is to be positive, and you see, people think that sometimes the world's falling apart. In actual fact, if you think back 10 years, and then 10 years, and then 10 years, all the way through your life, I know that I have made a very good case. I was born in 38. When? 1938? My God, it's a long time ago. Right. Then we had the Second World War. So by 1948, we'd gone through that. So it couldn't have been worse.
No.
It couldn't have been worse. And we were better. By 58, we had the Clean Air Act, because they realised you've got to clean the air act. They talk about the atmosphere being dirty today. Really, they don't know what it's like. Because in those days, every building was black.
Gosh,
and when we cleaned them all in the 60s, they've stayed clean ever since. So yes, there's pollution in the air, but compared to what it was and compared to what it could be, compared to what it is in other countries, we're there.
What's the story about someone giving you £100,000 to do something that you couldn't possibly do?
I tell this story not because I'm so thrilled with getting the £100,000, it's to show how stupid people are, you see. So I had this show in the Dome with 5 actors, and it was for the BAE Systems, and they were paying the money. And I talked to them at the beginning, and they never talked to them again. And so I started the show with the 5 actors, and it was a winter storm. It ran so well. We sold every place in the entire year for this show in the Dome. But they said, see you tomorrow after the first day. I said, no, I'm the producer. I've produced it. And now they've all got jobs. One's in charge of costume, one's in charge of props, one's in charge of looking after the audience, and one is a manager of the lot. So they're their own team. And I told them, if you break a leg, you're in a wheelchair, but you still do the show. All right? So they said, no, you'll have to come. And I said, I can't come. So they kept on at me. I said, I can't come because I'm doing a musical virtually the same day as they're playing, And next week, I'm in Aberdeen on Tuesday, Edinburgh on Wednesday, and Ayr on Thursday. How can I possibly come? So they said, eventually, how much would you want to come? I said, I can't come. And they said, if you could come, how much would you charge? I said, I'd have to, I don't know, 100,000. Yeah. 10 days later, £100,000 turns up. So this is terrible. So I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I told the actors, went back and I said, right, we'll do double the shows. Every time they do a show, they'll have half an hour off, change the audience to do another show. I got the agreement with the actors, everything all right. And the Dome people came out and said, we can't handle the logistics of that. So the £100,000 stayed in my bank account and paid me mortgage off.
Amazing. How lovely. What a great story. Well, now both autobiographies are out. If you can say both autobiographies, we can, can't we? Book 1 and Book 2. Book 2 is now available on our website, TRE.radio. It's called Johnny Ball, Stories That Must Be Told. And it's by Johnny Ball, who we've been chatting with today. Johnny, thank you so much for joining us again. Really lovely to chat with you.
Anytime, because there are so many other stories, and I'm so always pleased in telling them.
Oh, we love it. Thank you, Johnny.
Great. Thanks very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.